David Haye warns Tyson Fury that despite his emphatic victory over Deontay Wilder, not to get too overconfident, and explains why. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Speaking of Patreon, head over to Patreon. It's a new layout, new tier systems. I redesigned it from scratch, and appreciate the people who have joined. We over there now. We're bringing some of the content, extended Boxing Ego content over there, and we're getting it cracking. Or you could become a channel member here by hitting the join button. Another way to support the channel is the ESPN Plus bundle. Get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps for one price, $12.99. And it does help the channel, as I mentioned. So let's jump into it. David Haye did an interview. Link can be found in the description. And he says he wants to see the rematch. And to him, it doesn't sound like it's a foregone conclusion that it's in the bag for Tyson Fury, despite how Tyson Fury looked in their last fight. David Haye says, quote, "I'm intrigued to see the rematch. Sometimes things happen in fights, and if you fight 10 times, someone will win 9 times. Any big guy like that, the records, the power, the height, the costumes, the excitement of the last fight, and the excitement of the first fight, these guys could fight 10 times and you'd get different results. But looking at that last fight, I'm a fan of Fury and Wilder. Both warriors, both big, powerful men, different skill sets, but their styles gel beautifully. The third fight is Fury going to be overconfident, going in thinking he's got his measure, and Wilder all of a sudden comes in at a different level and shocks him with one of those massive shots, right?" He says he didn't understand Wilder's comments, kind of like downplaying and saying that Fury's not a real champion. He says, "I don't understand that. That was about as conclusive as you can get, really. I can't imagine him saying that. Maybe he just doesn't feel like he turned up and thinks he beat a very, very poor version of himself. Although technically it was him in the ring. It's an interesting one. I don't know how to feel about that because he said after the fight, the better man won in the ring. But Wilder, he's got an opportunity to do it again, and he has a perfect opportunity to back up those statements. If he goes out and knocks out Tyson Fury out in the rematch in one round, then all you could say is, that was the real Deontay Wilder. Sorry." His comments can only really be reflected on after the third fight. Then you could say either he was talking complete nonsense, or he was the real champion, or he wasn't the real champion because the real champion showed up this time. Boom. Now, new media, I appreciate everybody for the support. Ever since I started, y'all been rocking with me. You know, we get haters, but they don't outweigh the love. New media, man, like I keep telling y'all, we control the narrative. We totally control the narrative. It's funny, you keep hearing more and more people say stuff that I told you first on my channel, right? David Haye saying precisely what I said. I said, Tyson Fury, I went into a different category. He did a good interview, though, so shout out to him. But he's saying the same thing that I said. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts and just kind of recap. And if you've been here for a while, then you know I said this multiple times. My thing, why the third fight, because people were automatically writing off Deontay Wilder. I did a video about it, but they said Mike Tyson's old trainer, Finnick, said that Mike Tyson would destroy Wilder in one round and this, and that. And it is, you know, people are going overboard, and Wilder was a paper champion, you know, saying stuff. Boxing in this new generation is a lot of that. What have you done for me lately? And, you know, they cast you aside the moment you lose, tell you to retire, and all this dramatic stuff. You know, beta male stuff. That's not boxing. Why would someone retire when they can make lucrative, great fight? Even if one person has your number, that doesn't mean your career's over. Even if after the third fight, Tyson Fury shows he can beat Wilder again, that doesn't mean it's over for Wilder. There's still other fights for him. So all that is nonsensical talk. But I told you, and now you're hearing David Haye say the same thing. When it comes to Wilder Fury 3, people were trying to write this off. Oh, sit down, Wilder. You know, this guy beat you. Move out of the way for Anthony Joshua and Fury. It's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen unless Wilder has a change of heart and says, hey, I don't want to fight Tyson Fury anymore, you know, or had some kind of injury or something. But if he just outright says, oh, I don't want to fight Tyson Fury, let Joshua have him, then that's going to make Wilder look bad. So, you know, Wilder's prideful. He didn't even want the towel to get thrown in the fight, and, you know, was considering firing team members as a result of going against and being disobedient to something they had already discussed about never throwing in the towel. So Wilder, from all that I know about him, he's a prideful man. He means what he says. He's already said that he's enacting and triggering the rematch clause. So why would I believe Eddie Hearn or Team Joshua's and the fans incessant calls for a fight that we know is not going to happen next, especially with this pandemic that pushed all of live sports, not just boxing, but boxing included, off to the side for a few months, you know. So everybody, like, we're going to be so behind because there's fights that were already supposed to happen and that date has elapsed, or there's fights that are scheduled to happen still, you know, they were previously announced before the global shutdown and the pandemic, you know, really widespread panic, and those fights will be canceled, which we already know about. So Fury and Joshua ain't happening next. Now, with that out the way, you know, there's a lot of people saying, writing Wilder off and saying, oh, you had your chance, well, Tyson Fury beat you, and, you know, this stuff. But there's a rematch clause. Luckily, Wilder's team is smart, and they put him in that position. He says he felt like a zombie. He said he felt off. He said the suit was heavy, whatever. You know, people are saying that's excuses. Now he has the opportunity to show us what you're talking about. Show us if that was in true indeed the case, which is what David Haye is saying. And the other thing that me and David Haye see eye to eye with regarding this is the fight is still intriguing. It's not a for sure thing, you know, that Wilder loses the third fight. I still give Wilder a hell of a chance. See, I'm not a beta male, so I can't tell you how to act or be like, I mean, I can tell you what the behavior consists of, but I could never be that. That's just not who I am. And there's a lot of people who are beta males, so they just get in emotional ruts and they're prisoners of the moment. So they're looking only about the last fight. They're not looking at how Wilder knocked, you know, because realistically, Wilder knocked Tyson Fury out. He was literally unconscious. He's admitted to that. Tyson Fury even getting an opportunity was a judgment call from a referee. Other refs would have seen that and could have very well, if it wasn't Jack Reese, said the fight is over. So realistically, why would I not want to see a trilogy when the first two fights have had so crazy results and roller coaster results? You know, the first fight, Wilder, he's getting outboxed in the middle rounds, started off cool, getting middle rounds outboxed, and then he comes back, knocks Fury down, then dramatically knocks Fury out, which again, so realistically, Tyson Fury, old media is trying to say that Tyson Fury won the first fight easy and all this stuff, but guess what? Wilder, you could easily argue that Wilder had been, if he was given another referee, he could be 1-1 with Tyson Fury, because a referee would have seen how big ass Fury, almost 7 feet tall, folded like a sack of potatoes and was out and was snoring, you know? So that would have been enough to not allow the fighter to get up and try to survive and hurt themselves and stuff, or potentially get even badly hurt by a nefarious puncher. So why would I not want to see a trilogy when, again, it could be argued that Wilder and Fury are 1-1. It really can. Nonetheless, the first fight, even if you don't want to give Wilder the long count, or you don't think it was worthy of a knockout or whatever, the judges said it was a draw. So we still need one person to win. Either Wilder win. It's almost like an NBA playoff game. Even if a team is down 2-0, they don't just say, oh, this other team advances. That's not how it works. You have to actually sweep them. Even if it's 3-0, you still have to give the opponent, even if it's 3-0 and in the final game, if they get swept, is at the other person's enemy territory. Even though the odds are stacked against them, guess what? It's not a sweep until it's a sweep. So that's kind of what it is with this Deontay Wilder stuff. So I'm very interested in this fight, just like David Haye, because he says they could fight 10 times and you could get different results each and every time. Other thing that I mentioned on my channel, and I'm going to reiterate it. So if you hear my points resurface through the world of boxing, because my DNA is all through boxing, people come to my channel, you know, in secrecy and listen to the points that I make and then go and, you know, repeat it and repackage it on their own channels. But it is what it is. You guys know where you heard it first. Another thing that I've been saying with Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury seems motivated kind of as the underdog. He has this weird, you know, like fetish or whatever with being counted out. Because him and Billy Joe Saunders, I don't know if it's a gypsy thing, I don't know. But they both have that kind of thing where Billy Joe Saunders looked great versus David Lemieux, but you put him in there with someone like Marcelo Esteban Corceres that no one's ever heard of, and he looked poor. You know, even though he finally got a knockout, he didn't look good. You know, the David Lemieux fight, he looked real well. He looked real good. Same thing with Tyson Fury. You put Tyson Fury in there with a proper challenge, and you usually get a better Tyson Fury. Wilder 2 fight, Klitschko fight, you know. You put him in there with the name, he kind of gets up for the occasion. But you put him in there with Otto Wallin, sometimes you get these wacky performances where he just doesn't look that good. How do you look like that versus Otto Wallin, right? But then you're able to beat an undefeated, you know, reigning champion who ain't lost ever in 40 plus fights and has a belt since like 2015 or whatever, right? 10 title defenses, 10, 11, whatever it was. I mean, that's crazy. So I absolutely want to see it. And Wilder, I mean, he's done too much for the heavyweight division to not get an opportunity. We had to suffer through Joshua Ruiz. We at least know, unlike Joshua Ruiz, this fight is going to be explosive because Wilder, this is a do or die fight for him. So he's going to have to get it right. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to see it. I know he's not going to run around like Joshua did versus Ruiz, and it's not going to be this fight in Saudi Arabia and it doesn't live up to expectations. I can tell you that. Whatever the outcome is, if Fury wins the third fight or Wilder, it'll be entertaining because that's what the precedents that they've set. So I don't see that changing. You know, unlike Joshua, who had to lose weight and switch his whole style up to a more, you know, stay away, hit and stay away type of style that he's not even good at, or he's not as versed. You know, it don't look like superior. He looked like frustrated in any type. He looked like just super hesitant in any of them exchanges. You know, so nonetheless, this is going to be an explosive fight per usual. And you have to give Wilder his credit and the opportunity for even wanting that, because some people might, you know, they know this is like do or die. So Wilder has an insane belief in his ability. If he feels it was an off night, you got to give him that chance as a champion based on everything he's done. Wilder gave Fury, see, this is what they do, and they often do it for white fighters. This is what I noticed. They'll do it like if a black fighter wins, then if he wins controversially, oh no, you got to run that back. Like Ward Kovalev, you know, when it's a non-black fighter, if it's allegedly controversial like Ward Kovalev, you got to run that back immediately. But now Fury and Wilder have a draw, and Fury won despite the glove gate and all this stuff that people have questions about. But Fury won the second one, so that means you won one of 2 fights because the first fight was a draw. Now they want Fury to just go off and retire. Like his dad saying, they want him to go off and fight Joshua, another opponent, and do his own thing and, you know, fight Derek Chisora again. You know, like what? How does the Wilder not get it? How is he not deserving of another shot at his belt? But he gave Fury a chance when Fury was a relic and forgotten about. You know, it just makes no sense. So we don't advance like that. We're not going to advance past Wilder getting what's owed to him. If he wants it, it's dangerous, high risk. But it's also high reward if he can win. And then if he does win by knockout, which is what people feel it would probably have to be as opposed to outboxing Fury, then we have a saga right here. This is some Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao stuff where you can get 4 out of this easy and it'll sell because this is a real rivalry. If Fury wins, obviously that kind of deads the rivalry because that means Fury best of 3. You see what I'm saying? But Wilder, you know, it's just all up on him. What he decides to do, how he trains, if he can beat Fury, those types of things. So people will watch this. Don't get that twisted. Shout out to David Haye. Let me know how I did in this video. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. Head over to Patreon. hit the join button, become a channel member. We got new content. Man, I'm working. I promise you, quarantine or not, that don't stop. Drop your thoughts in the comment section as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.